YouTube and this heavy metal hangout. How are ya? So on a regular search for new bands to love, something we all do, I found 3 that I'll tell you about. One of which, shout out to IAM's publicist Raquel for turning me on to him. The description read, drawing from various influences such as one mystery band that I'll reveal very loudly in a second, but also Danzig, My Dying Bride, The Cure, hair metal, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm into all those. I heard the teaser for their latest video, and I'm like, what is this? Can I just say, I have not been unequivocally blown away by something I've heard in years. Now, the following is not this, but have you heard about this recent AI tech that lets you basically type in a command like, hey Siri, create music that sounds like Drake, and by God, do you get Drake? Well, in the case of this band, October Noir, you wouldn't need to write, hey Siri, please create for me music that sounds like, no, music that sounds absolutely fucking-dentical in every way imaginable to Type O Negative. This, which October Noir does, is absolutely insane, man. So much so that I looked at the date that their most recent release came out to compare it to when that AI tech came out, because I was wondering if that's what was going on, and it didn't line up. I then went to their most recent full-length, Fate, Wine, and Wisteria in 2021, and wow, was that a listening experience like none other. Finally, I go to their first release, The Haunting and the Powerful, in 2017. Same thing, man. Sounds exactly like Type O Negative. So you know what? I'll show you here, all right? Let's play the game Type O or October Noir for a second, all right?
This betrayal of the highest cost, a bottomless pit. No forward or reverse. I make the call. It feels I'm trapped inside the darkest chamber. There's nowhere else to hide. It's middle anguish. Throughout these woods, her hair like a new moon, her skin was like the full black nails, lipstick, a glass of wine.
Is that not friggin' uncanny? But the thing is, they're 99% Type O, okay? Because there are instances when October does that stuff that's slightly uncharacteristic from what Type O would do, and it's its own unique thing, right? Or maybe you could say they're doing things that bands that inspired Type O did. For instance, on the latest album, Effigy, track 4, it's almost got like a Beatles sort of thing going on. Or if you were to quicken its tempo a little bit, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the Jerry Only fronted era of the Misfits on the Devil's Reign album, or their Project 1950 album. In the song Persephone, there's some finger tapping going on in the solo. Or in the song Serendipity, there's a kind of tempo change that wasn't very common for Type O. Or, here's some shit for you, right? You want to ask AI, hey Siri, what would Sistinus by Danzig sound like if Type O recorded it? Well, you wouldn't need to, because October Noir's got that covered for you, man. So all together, man, the way I look at what they do is the same way I look at the Electric Wizards of the world, and the Stone Jesuses, and the Witchfinder General, Saint Vituses, and all that. If those bands are there to continue what the Ozzy era of Black Sabbath were doing, then quite frankly, since I and many, many others love Type O Negative, I am grateful for October Noir. I celebrate them. I applaud them. I applaud what an amazing, amazing job they do of being so loyal to one of their main influences that they love and sharing it with the world. I wish them good luck and say God bless those dudes in October Noir, okay? If you're a fan of Type O Negative or even other bands that people like that like Die Humane, for example, like I am, check out October Noir, N-O-I-R, the hell out. Alright, next up from the US state of Maryland comes Vile Ritual. See, I wanted to keep my search to either very new bands or those that are starting to come up. So in this case, their very recent release, Caverns of Occultic Hatred. Now, it's described as blackened death metal, okay? However, if you want a more drilled down description, I'll put it like this, which at the surface may sound a bit controversial. Now, personally, I find it really cool when a band can sound different than what its literary description is stereotypical of. In this case, one characteristic I would give them, which, like I said, is not at all anything like what the genre is, but Vile Ritual at times are melodic, all right? Not even closely in the way that bands like In Flames or Dark Tranquillity are, which that stuff is just not my thing, man. The one exception, if you can even truly call them that, are at the gates. But amidst Vile Ritual's very dark, dense, blast-beaten, grindy heaviness, at times exist melodies. They also kind of have a sort of like psychedelic blood incantation feel, and maybe I'm only saying that because there's similar reverb on the vocals, maybe it's the reverb on the instruments in general, but it is sometimes kind of ethereal, right? Just in the way that blood incantation is. Also, sometimes they do that thing with the vocals that like Portal does, where they just like sort of like shout them and throw them out there and they dissipate into the air around them. They got 2 releases, the current Caverns of Occultic Hatred and last year's Tongues of the Exanimate. Exanimate. How the fuck you say that, man? Look it up for yourself, right? Quick little teaser here, okay? So there you go, Vile Ritual, very enjoyable. Alright, staying death now. Not exactly death and roll, more at times death and DBeat, let's say, alright? From Portland, Oregon, a Cannibal Corpse on MDMA-inspired sound, Torture Rack. This is a band who shifts between blast parts and parts with standard beats, alright? Movement, let's say traditional tempos, and a very healthy dose of discharge, doom and skit system and dysphere more recently, types of parts like that, right? Ultimately, they're a fun band, heavy as hell, sludgy sounding guitars compared to someone like Vile Ritual. And they're another example of a band who's kind of a paradox in that you could argue they have parts that groove or slam, but they are not in any way, shape, or form core at all. It's not anything like that whatsoever. But you could use words like groove and slam to describe them if you want, but not in the same school or lane, whatever, as any of those deathcore bands, okay? No way. Their thing is pretty gore with like song titles like Talent for Torture, okay? Entrail Intruder. This is my favorite one. Open Casket Funeral Puker. Open Casket Funeral Puker. All right, listen to the punk beat in that one. And Sentence, I can't say it. Sentence to, yeah, those were from last year's Barbaric Persecution album, okay? But just last month, Prime Evil, however the fuck you say that one, Prime Evil Onslaught came out. Slightly different production sound, but just as fun. So here's a little teaser. right, you know what I'm gonna say about that? Is I'm gonna say, do you see what I mean? There you go, you tell me, I don't know. But alright, man, well, those are 3 bands that kicked the shit out of me this last week, and if you're looking for something to kick the shit out of you, maybe they will too, you know? But alright, well, hey, if you liked the video, cool, man, maybe you'll give it a thumbs up, or if you just like hearing somebody bullshit about metal, well, then you know what to do, hit that fucking subscribe button, alright? But until then, we'll see you next time on Concrete Spew. Alright, stay metal, my friend.
This tried and true. It's on.